Okay. So hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. We are going to be focusing on stability today, and we are going to stay on the ground so we can build stability and strength while not in standing poses. Please have either a block or a blanket or a firm cushion or something prepared, and a strap. We'll be using both. We are going to be pushing through the feet, so have something that you can push your feet into. Just a couch will work well for stability, because we are going to be building stability in both legs and mobility simultaneously. I generally do this because gluteus maximus is generally overdeveloped in people. It's an external rotator. So you'll see duck feet in a lot of people, and the medius and minimus of the gluteus is generally underdeveloped. Those are internal rotators. So they really provide stability for the pelvis and for the legs coming down. And especially if you're walking with your feet out this way a little bit, you're putting pressure on the knee every single time. So it can cause knee issues. So this is to bring stability into the entire body, really. So we'll begin just by breathing a little bit. Settling in, allowing breath to deepen into the lower ribs and belly. Bringing some awareness into the face, allowing face to find some ease as well. And then feeling into an intention for your practice today. Feeling our way there instead of thinking our way there. Maybe it's something as simple as, I am fully supported in my practice. We're going to do a little breath work for our stability and for our nervous system. So inhaling 3 or 4 or 5, depending on what your capacity is. Lower ribs expand first. Exhale 4, 5, or 6. So if you're inhaling 3, you're exhaling 4 or 5. If you're inhaling 4, you're exhaling 6. If you're inhaling 5, you're exhaling 7 or 8. So at your own pace. Again, this is to help calm the nervous system and bring some strength and stability in the diaphragm. Taking about 10 breaths this way. Also helps focus the mind. Taking your last couple breaths. Go ahead and rub or tap on the sternum. It can be nice and gentle. Again, thymus gland is back here. Vagus nerves run down each side. Giving a little bit of love to our systems. Let's check in and see what things feel like in the joints. Chest sensation, not going for pushing or pulling or stretching. Go ahead and roll the shoulders out a little bit. You can do both directions. Notice what else tries to help and come online. Like what musculature tries to support this movement. Take a breath. Gently rolling the head out. Gentle, slow, easy. Go to like your 30%. There's a certain direction or spot that your body doesn't feel great in, go ahead and ease your way through that. And take a breath. All right, so we're going to work our way down the joints. So you can put your feet in front of you. We're going to exhale into a twist. So go ahead, reach back behind you, supporting yourself. Exhale, twist. Coming back up. Take a breath. Exhale on the twist. Hopefully y'all got a little bit of release. Bring soles of the feet together, bring these out. Notice what the hips feel like, so you can bring them into a range of motion. You can do some circles here. This will do spine and hips. And we're just checking out what the joints feel like. Shake the legs out. Roll the ankles out. And then spread the toes. We are going to get into toes because this is foundational. So when we talk about balance, this is why we have, I mean, it sounds ridiculous that there are these tiny bones in the feet and they support the entire rest of the body. It doesn't seem like it should work that way, but it does because we need multiple joints so that there's micro movement down here, which actually provides more stability. So if these get locked down, we generally have less stability in the body, less balance. Knees take a hit. And that's true if the hips are locked down. Knees are taking the hit. They're kind of the sandwich. So hopefully you guys can have access to your toes. You can spread and thread the fingers through the toes, allowing the toes to spread, and go ahead and get some rotation, get some spread in there. I invite you to do this in the middle of a Tadasana. So do your Tadasana like you normally would, your standing pose or tree pose. Then spread your feet out and give your feet some love, and then do it again and see what the difference is. Because this is foundation. We give them so little love, the feet. We take them for granted. All right, go ahead and shake it out. Then we put them in tight shoes. Tom Myers from Anatomy trains called shoes little foot coffins because they just kind of lock everything down. So spread your toes out. Notice if one side feels differently than the other now. Just from that little bit, loosening up the fascia. Hi, fascia. Let's go ahead and do the opposite leg. So again, threading fingers through the toes and then move it around. Getting movement in the toes, the foot, the ankle. Noticing if there's a difference between one side and the other. Again, we don't live symmetrically in the body. So asymmetries happen. So we can tell which side we're favoring and live a little bit more evenly in the body. Thank you, body. I talk to my body all day. People think I'm nuts. All right, go ahead, shake it out. As my people close to me, have you thanked your body today? They're like, really? Like, can you imagine what it's like to do so much and have such little gratitude from somebody? Thank it, for crying out loud. All it does is all day long is protect, secure, and support. Okay, we're going to get into stability for the legs. We are going to need a strap, and I'll tell you exactly where the strap placement goes because there is some specificity. Have either your block or your blanket or whatever you're using, because we will need it for the external rotation. We will need it for support underneath the leg. So we're gonna come on down. Side first. Be somewhere where you can push in with the opposite leg. Hopefully your mat doesn't slide like mine just did. Just to see where you are. So take a couple breaths, knees bent, feet on the ground, noticing what back of the body feels like, what your contact points feel like, where body connects with ground. And we're going to do a breath that is going to be the breath that we'll be using throughout this stability practice today. So on the inhale, belly goes nice and big. It's easy and relaxed. And on the exhale, everything from below the belly button comes up and in towards the belly button. So your undercarriage all the way up to the belly button. Gets hugged in, up and in towards the spine. So inhales are nice and big and relaxed. Exhales gently hug up and in. Go to your 60. You do not want to fatigue these muscles. We are not working them out like biceps or quads. This is just to engage and have stability in the pelvic floor. And you can put your hand on your belly. You can see how that movement happens. It's subtle, but it's there. So pick a leg that you're going to do first. Strap comes up underneath the bottom of the foot. You are more towards the ball of the foot than the middle because you do want those toes to come back towards you. I invite you to wrap your hands around the strap. So arms are either elongated or elbows are down on the ground. You don't want to be pulling on it and using your arm muscles. You just want to set yourself up so that you can have mobility and stability at the same time. So pushing through the leg, wherever feels good for you, as long as there's a stretch in the back of the leg. Upper legs are engaged, quads are engaged. Opposite foot is pushing into the wall or couch or whatever you've got. So you are stable through both sides. Using only the muscles you need to here. And deep, easy breaths. We're going to take about 10 breaths, just like we did before. So belly nice and rounded in the inhale. Exhale, drawing that pelvic floor and everything in the pit of the abdomen below the belly button up in it. Face is easy. So this is part of the hip series. And yoga for a happy back. So this helps back, this helps legs, this helps knees, this helps everything. I think Rachel got it from Purna Yoga, but I'll have to check my notes to make sure. And when you've done your 10 breaths, drop the foot and then elongate the leg, shake it out. Release in whatever way your body needs to. Take a couple deep, easy breaths. Relaxed breaths, not like we were doing. No hugging up and in right now. Just easy. Noticing any subtle changes. And let's do opposite leg. So again, strap goes just below ball of the foot, right around there. Go ahead and wrap strap around your hands, set yourself up so arms are either elongated or elbows are down on the ground. I like elbows down on the ground. So you aren't fighting with yourself. When you're ready, on the exhale, foot pushes into your supportive structure. Getting space through the back of the opposite leg now. Noticing how this leg may feel differently. Again, you don't want to put strain in the knee joint. Spacious inhales. Exhales are supportive, hugging up and in. Taking about 10 breaths here. Making sure you aren't using muscles you don't need to, so shoulders can be easy and relaxed. Head isn't pushing into the ground. And once you've reached your 10, go ahead, drop the foot, elongate out, shake it out. Take a few deep, easy breaths. And bend the knees, windshield wiper the knees a little bit, get some ease in the low back, and the hips, and the spine. All right, so we're going to go a little bit cross body, crossing the midline of the body. Strap placement is important here. So strap is going to go around the outside of the ankle and both straps are going to be inside. So that way we get a little bit of rotation in the hip joint as well. Straps are going to be held in the opposite arm. I like my arm elongated for this one. On the exhale, push into the wall with the opposite leg. Foot is going to come just past the midline. So you want that mobility in the IT band, and you're still building strength in both legs. Same breath, easy inhales. Exhale, supportive and drawing up and in. About 10 breaths. So that strap around the outside of the heel helps to rotate the hip joint a little bit. And in fact, you can put your thumb into that joint and roll it down and out. So you're taking your thumb, re-rolling it out and down. If you like. When you reach your 10, draw leg back to its center, drop the foot, elongate out, shake it out. Notice how both sides feel, if one side feels differently than the other. Taking a few deep, easy breaths. And again, we're getting a lot through the leg chains. We're getting front, back, spiral, and deep front lines of the body. We're getting all of that in one shot. So it's a lot. So go gently on yourselves. All right, go ahead, bend the knees. Let's set ourselves up for the opposite side. Again, strap is around the outside of that ankle, of that heel. Both straps will be held in the opposite hand, so they'll be on the inside of the leg. When you're ready, exhaling, pushing foot into your supportive surface and drawing foot just past your midline. So once you feel it in the outside of the leg, you're there. You don't want to pass the shoulder. Making sure muscles that don't need to work aren't. You should be pretty okay just with gravity. Like you aren't using the arm muscles a whole lot. Feeling that spaciousness on one side and stability in the other, although we're building stability in both at the same time. If you like, go ahead and put your thumb into that hip crease, roll it out and down. Spacious on the inhales. Supportive, hugging in on the exhales. That's all we're doing, is reminding body how it can be supportive. Pelvic floors especially, for everybody. For organ health, for urinary health, for being able to lift and not have a hernia, for all the things. Once you've reached your 10, bring leg back to its center, drop the foot, release it out, shake it out. So we've gotten front plane of motion. We've gotten that mobility just to the inside. Now we're going to get outer rotation. Let's take a few breaths at center first. You can go ahead and bend the knees and windshield wiper the knees out. Again, noticing how low back feels, how back of the pelvis feels. This is great stability for the pelvis. Anybody who's ever had an upslip or a rotation knows how important stability in the pelvis can be, because that can be incredibly mind-bending painful. Take a few breaths at center. Deep and easy. No hugging on the exhales, just allowing breath to happen. Ease in the face and the breath, reminding body that it's okay here. All right. This time, we're going to have strap a little bit differently. Set yourself up so that when you put your leg out to the side, whichever side you're going to use, you have either a blanket or a block near that side, near you, so you can prop up the leg at whatever height you need to. This time, strap goes around the inside of the heel and the ankle. Both straps are going to be on the outside to create kind of a sling. It's going to support the leg. Once you're set up, again, I like my arm elongated here because I don't have to do a whole lot of work. Once you're ready, on the exhale, pushing into the wall with the opposite leg. On the next exhale, go ahead and draw the leg out to the side, wherever feels good for you, as long as the opposite hip doesn't roll up. You don't want to do this. You want fully stable in the pelvis. Pelvis is rock solid on the ground, just that hip joint. And yeah, it might take us a few adjustments on the strap to get it where you like it. Making sure the leg is supported. So that blanket or block is going to be underneath the upper leg somewhere. Why? Support always helps body have more stability. And taking our deep, easy 10 breaths here, easy on the inhales. And you can put that hand on that pelvis to make sure that it's down, that it isn't rolling up and over. Spacious inhales, supportive exhales. So we're stabilizing legs, we're stabilizing glutes, we're stabilizing adductors, we're stabilizing tubular core. Because core is connected to everything. People are like, oh, my core. I'm like, you realize it's connected to everything, right? Center is connected to everything. Ease in the breath in the face. When you've come to your 10 breaths, on the exhale, bringing leg back to its center, drop the foot, shake it out. So we always drop the foot first and then elongate out. So we're bringing hip flexors into a range of motion. So we don't want to fire them on full blast. Taking a few deep, easy breaths at center, noticing if maybe one leg feels a little longer than the other. Bringing feet back to our starting point, knees are bent, feet are flat on the ground. Again, strap goes around the inside of the heel. So both straps are going to be on the outside to hold it like a sling. So you are wrapped around inside of the heel. Both straps will come around onto the outside. Nice and supportive for the leg. Go ahead and bring your support to the opposite side to support the side that we're going to be doing. Exhale, pushing into the whatever supportive surface you're using to support that is perpendicular to the floor. And then on the next exhale, drawing that leg out to the side as long as that opposite hip doesn't creep up on you. So again, you can put your hand on that, on the pelvis. Face is easy. Pardon my dirty feet. I was outside doing things this morning before class. Spacious inhales, supportive exhales. Both legs fully engaged. Those quads are active. Upper legs active. And just for information, when we flex the feet, so toes coming towards us, we're also giving some spaciousness to the back of the legs. A stretch, if you will. I hate using that word. We don't play tug of war with the body. When you've come to your 10, on the next exhale, drawing leg back towards its center, drop the foot, release out, shake it out. Roll out the ankles, noticing how things feel for you. You can bend the knees, windshield wiper the hips out. Notice if things feel differently in the body. So that's just half of the hip series. The rest of it is more of a release as opposed to a building of stability. But as we know, mobility is important. Having that range of motion is important to build strength. But we're going to focus on stability today. Blanket can go to the side. You can use a block. You can use the blanket that you have. You can use I like a slightly deflated ball because there's softness, but whatever you have that is going to keep knees about hip width apart. So knees are going to be bent. And we're going to do that same breath. So inhaling spacious. Exhale, gently draw that pelvic floor, your undercarriage, everything below the belly button, up and in towards the spine to your 60%. Type A personalities, you got to do everything 120. You come to your 30%, maybe even your 20. So we're going to get this in 3 different ways. So on your next exhale, gently squeeze in, gently, again, to your 20%. This is not a vice. We're not trying to squeeze the life out of it. Again, this is also teaching us how to stabilize ourselves when we are lifting weight or pushing or pulling in any way. This is that hugging up and in of the organs is what we want to do. So we aren't pushing out and down. A lot of people think they're stabilizing their core and they squeeze and everything's being squeezed down and out as opposed to being hugged and supported up and in. Couple more breaths of squeezing in slightly on the exhales while doing that hugging and supportive breath. And last breath. And release. Take your support out from under you, from in between the legs. Take a few deep, easy breaths. You can windshield wiper the knees out. Roll the ankles out if you like. So this can also help with, for men and women, if you have UTIs or chronic UTIs, sometimes the pelvic floor is weak and the organs are pushing on the urethra and blocking it a little bit. So supporting these muscles up and in can actually help take that pressure off the urethra and help things flow a little bit easier. So now grab your strap. This time we're going to secure the legs just above the knees. So again, you can have knees hip width apart. And you can secure it wherever you like it. However it feels good on your body. So this time, instead of squeezing in, we're going to be gently pushing out. So let's try that breath again. Taking a couple easy breaths first, just relaxed. Now on your exhales, spacious inhales, exhales, gently hugging that breath in, all that undercarriage, lower belly comes up and in towards the belly button while also pushing out slightly into your strap. Take about 10 breaths this way. So for your friends that have duck feet, this is a great thing that they can do to help bring some stability. But don't give it unsolicited because I've made that mistake. Last couple of breaths. And relax. You can go ahead and windshield wiper the knees a little bit. Shake the legs out. We're going to do this in one more different way, bringing a different range of motion. Taking a few breaths at center first. So we're going to play with our bridge a little bit. So doing bridge, again, the exhales are going to be that supportive exhale, that drawing up and in towards the belly button. So let's try it two different ways. So inhale, exhale, draw up and in, push into the ground, lift up. And notice what happens when you kind of push into your feet, kind of push out, if you can get some more lift, but what it feels like in the knee joint. So we don't want sensation in the knee joint. Gently lower down vertebra by vertebra. Come to your center. And again, it depends on what's going on in your body, but generally pushing out can put more pressure into the knee joint. So we're going to do it again. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, pushing up into bridge. And this time, try and draw feet towards you. And see if that feels differently. If it feels differently in the knee joints. And gently curl spine down. So you do what feels best for you in your body, either pushing out into the heels or drawing up from the heels into the body. We're going to go with the breath. So deep inhales. Exhale, supportive breath. Pushing up into your bridge. Take a deep breath at the top. Supportive exhale. Gently coming down on those exhales, roll down. Doing 10 at your own pace. If you can do 10. If you can't do 10, don't worry about it. And that strap is really keeping us from those knees coming way out. You could also do it alternatively, squeezing in with something. Either way, we're working muscles that generally aren't worked. It can be slow and easy. This is not a race. Take your last breath. Your last bridge. Go ahead, release the legs. Windshield wiper the knees out. Roll the ankles out. Taking a few breaths at whatever center is for you right now. Then go ahead and draw feet so that the soles of the feet are touching one another, knees come out. So Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, just to allow ourselves to find some relief in the pelvic floor. If you have a blanket, you can wrap it around your feet, and that way the blanket will come up underneath your upper legs and support them a little bit. Otherwise, you can use blocks or pillows or blankets underneath the knees on both sides. Just giving the body some support here. We don't want legs just hanging out in space. We want to give them some support. And here, just deep, easy breaths, noticing what a full breath feels like in the entirety of the core. So deep breath into the lower belly, noticing what it feels like in the pelvic floor. So your undercarriage, what does the breath feel like here? Releasing whatever tension may have built up in our stability practice. Breaths are spacious, face is easy. And you have the option here to be here for your Shavasana, or find whatever Shavasana feels most comfortable for you right now. Moving gently, if you choose to elongate the legs, put something underneath the knees to give that low back and that lumbar spine some ease. Getting your comfort. What feels best for you? Feeling how you're supported here. What does support feel like? How does body respond to feeling supported? How does breath respond? How does face respond? And even intention, how does it respond? Feeling into that inner ground, what they call the groundless ground, your inner okayness, your inner resource, that space that is always whole and unharmed. Feeling into where you feel most secure, most supported, most protected, and most at ease. Whatever helps that to arise for you. Maybe it's a place or a memory or a hope that you have for yourself and your life. Allowing yourself to rest here, to be nourished and recharged. Gently coming back. Feeling how you're supported here. Knowing we can take that felt sensation of support with us whenever and wherever we need it. It's ours. Noticing how body just happens by itself, and breath. Just being, nothing to do. Gently roll out the wrists and ankles. Gently rock head side to side, noticing how you have range of motion that you generally don't have when you're fully supported. You can stay right where you are, but if you'd like to shift into something that's more comfortable, go ahead and do so. And if it feels right for you, go ahead and bring palms together at heart center, allowing sides of the thumbs to rest on the sternum, if it feels good for you. Thanking our bodies for all that they do for us. Thanking ourselves for taking time to give ourselves love and care. Love and care to our bodies and beings. And I thank you for choosing to share your practice with me today, everyone. Thank you. Om Shanti.